Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. And welcome to the 6th edition of SPIA Asia. A little bit different this year for obvious reasons, but we're delighted to be bringing the industry together over the course of the next few Wednesdays as we celebrate and recognise those in the industry who really have gone above and beyond to make the last 12 months work and to reach out and help the effort against the COVID-19 pandemic as well. My name's Tom Bushell. You should recognise me from being the normal host of SPIA Asia when we are in a city somewhere across Asia. This year in the comfort of my living room, but it is wonderful still to be talking to you as the industry gets together early this year in 2021. So over the next few Wednesdays, as I say, we'll be celebrating and recognising those that have really done some outstanding work in the industry during the pandemic. We have 7 categories to get through over the next few weeks. Each category has 5 shortlisted nominations and we'll be awarding a winner in each category as well. So as I say, over the next 3 Wednesdays, we will have a list of categories to get through, and they consist of sports marketing campaign, giving back to the community, volunteering service, sports education campaign, through esports, and also public service hero as well. But it all starts on this Wednesday with the category of sports technology innovation, which we will get to very shortly. However, as we always do at SPIA Asia, it's always my pleasure to introduce to you, before we get proceedings underway, the CEO of SPIA Asia to say a few words, Eric Gottschalk.
Thank you very much, Tom, and welcome back to our 6th SPIA Asia event. It's been a tradition, and we didn't want to interrupt the tradition just because of the global pandemic, but we've also started being a bit more flexible, and we changed the format of this year's awards. While in the past, traditionally, we have submission-based nominations, we this year went to a purely nomination-based process, because we believe that at a time where we are all struggling with the economy and with the industry in general, it's much more important that you get recognized by your peers rather than trying to put submission-based documents forward or trying to compete against each other. And that's what we have done. So as Tom said correctly, we have 7 categories. We narrowed in each category the nominations down to a top 5. And this top 5 went to a database of 250 industry experts from around the world and from all categories of the industry to make their voting on the top initiative of the year. It's been tremendous how the industry has responded to the COVID challenges that have been thrown at us. And we believe it's time for us to recognize and to highlight on behalf of the industry of what was possible. So thank you very much, Tom, for you being here. Congratulations to everyone who has been nominated and shortlisted. And obviously, thank you for our partners that are helping us to continue with this event. Tom, back to you.
Thank you very much, Eric. Always good to hear from you. And I have to say as well, it's a pleasure to be emceeing SPIA Asia for the 6th year, even though I'm in the comfort of my living room in Dubai. But, and I think everyone will agree with me, we look forward to hopefully getting back together in Asia later on this year when the world has started to recover. Our first category for this first week of the 6th edition of SPIA Asia is, of course, the initiative of the year within sports technology innovation. Shortlisted nominees, first of all, they are Virtual NFL Draft by Bose. The NFL, in partnership with Bose, conducted for the first time in its history its annual 32 teams player draft virtually. Bringing virtual fans to the NBA bubble. The NBA is using Microsoft Teams new Together mode to place basketball fans courtside in a virtual experience during live games. Fans reunited with BT Sport creative response to the biggest challenge in sports broadcasting ever faced. And also Sky Sports Crowds by Sky Sports, EA Sports, FIFA, Sky Sports as well, created a team-specific experience that uses crowd noise and chants to replicate the vibrant atmosphere of Premier League matches. However, our winner and very deserving winner of this category is La Liga and Media Pro, the audio-visual broadcast with virtual fans and audiences. Through virtual technology available in the La Liga match broadcasts, Media Pro Group was able to project virtual fans into the empty stadiums during match play to create the visual effect as if venues were full of fans. And it is amazing as well if you have seen it.
La Liga is back, and it's back to win.
In this restart of La Liga Santander.
In the restart of La Liga.
Now, for this one, our presenting partner is Next Sports, and I'm delighted to welcome their CEO to the call as well. Meneer Zok, good to have you with us.
Hello, Tom. Good to be with you. Hi, Eric. Thank you so much for the opportunity. It's always a pleasure to be working with events that are recognizing some of the best innovations in the world. We immediately jumped on the opportunity to work together with Eric and all of his team on shortlisting and selecting the Sports Technology Innovation Initiative of the year. It's been a very crazy year, as for everyone, and we're really glad that we had so many nominations come through. You know, it was a tough choice, I have to say. I think all of the judges were a little bit torn, you know, because of just the amazing innovations, and we're delighted to see La Liga and Media Pro come through, and you know, through the whole listings. What I absolutely loved about La Liga and Media Pro's initiative was not only the innovation and the technology that was presented and that delighted fans all around the world, but it was also the speed at which those innovations made their way onto our streaming platforms. At Next Sports, we work very closely with all of our clients on their digital and data and innovation initiatives. We are a US company, however, we do have our operating headquarters in Barcelona. Sports properties come to us typically with questions around what's next, how can we innovate our business model, what is the role of technology, how do we capture data from our fans, how do we analyze data, how do we make decisions, and how do we prepare ourselves and future-proof our business through emerging technology. Congratulations to Oscar, congratulations to Melchior. I know that you guys are representing the institutions, and I do know very fully that there are hundreds and hundreds of people who are involved in the innovations that we see happening every day at La Liga. So congratulations, and looking forward to talking to you more.
Thanks very much, Meneer. Good to speak to you and have you on the call as the presenting partner for this first category of the 6th SPIA Asia. And as he mentioned, Melchior and Oscar as well. Delighted to say that the director of the audiovisual department at La Liga joins us on the call, Melchior Sola, and also the TV Sports match director at Media Pro, Oscar Lego as well. Good afternoon, I think it is, or good morning actually, because you are both in Barcelona. To you both, thanks for being here.
Hola, thank you very much. Good morning, good afternoon, Asia. Yes, we are very proud of this award, and thank you very much. We have worked a lot to achieve what we had.
I have to mention, I know you're either within Barcelona or just outside before we get into a few questions about your initiative, but Spain has been experiencing a lot of cold weather recently, but are you both fairly warm near the coast in Barcelona?
Yes, we are okay. We are okay. Well, at least me, but in Barcelona, it has not snow, and the climate is not as severe as it has been in the center of Spain. Thank you.
So Lionel Messi with his red card earlier this week, he can't blame that on the cold weather, no?
Yes, it's a pity. It's a pity because we all like Messi playing. So we will see if he is punished 1 or 2 games or what the judges say. Yes.
Fantastic. Good to have you here. Oscar, I'll come to you then with the first question from the industry, if you like. Liga and Media Pro have always been at the forefront of technology innovation. We can see that around the world with, you know, La Liga is now broadcast on Facebook in the subcontinent, which is a real progression for sports broadcasting. But what inspired the initiative that you came about during the pandemic? Was it something that was already part of the research and development team's plans, or was it something that you brought to the forefront very quickly when you realized what the situation was?
Sorry, Oscar, I would like to do this answer because the initiative came from La Liga together with Media Pro, but before going to the details, I wanted to let you know that the first thing we had in mind in La Liga and Media Pro, but was to give our viewers a similar experience to what they have had in the past. So we immediately start to develop with Media Pro, and now Oscar will explain a way of doing virtual crowds in the stadiums. That we would like also to explain how difficult that was. And complemented to this virtual crowd, of course, we needed audio, virtual audio. So this audio could be similar to what our viewers around the world were habituated to experience. I just wanted to give you this, and after this thought, we start working in the 2 ways, no, the audio and the crowds. Sorry for the, I jumped in, but now Oscar, if you want to explain more, and I have a kind of some a pair of anecdotes about this that I will explain later.
Perfect. Oscar, it would be, as Melcia said, amazing to hear about how you developed it and how the technology actually works to putting all this together.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Good morning, Tom, Eric, Munir. First of all, that I would like to highlight it's the work and the commitment of the production teams, graphic designers and engineers of Media Pro in this project. As you know, Media Pro and La Liga are 2 companies with an innovative spirit, and the implementation of virtual fans and virtual audio in record time has represented an unprecedented challenge for the Media Pro and La Liga teams. An experience that has allowed spectators, viewers to forget that they were watching a match that was held in an empty stadium. And of course, helping fans to experience that, to experience them with passion and atmosphere similar to the one they had before to the pandemic. After the first lockdown and the first information that football would return without fans, we thought that our obligation was to propose solutions to offer viewers the best possible show on TV. We knew that match in an empty stadium, it's a bad experience. It seems like a training session. And then in early April, we started to work in what we will do when the football returns. And this is was our first thought with La Liga team and Media Pro, and then we start to work in this project.
And tell me this, when you got to the point of rolling it out and seeing it live and directing it live, what were those early pain points that you saw that needed some work, or a couple of things that maybe didn't work and you needed to rectify for the next week's games? Was there anything there?
Yeah. First, I would like to explain how it was the process to decide what we will do. And before we received some proposal from some companies in order to add virtual banners or flags to the main stand. But immediately we decided that what we wanted to do was something that get the viewers to forget during the match that they were watching a match in an empty stadium, and help them to be focused on football as they did in the past. Then and kept also the same passion supporting his team as usual. For us in Media Pro, it has been, as I said before, the biggest challenge in recent years. We had to propose a solution that will allow us to produce more than 20 matches every weekend, not only the first division, but also the second division in an economically sustainable way. That means a remote production centralized in our headquarters.
I would like to add here, if you don't mind, Tom, that while once we have decided to go for virtual crowds, that was not easy at all, because there are three factors that any other company, except Media Pro and the Norwegian friends and the other companies involved, were capable to do. Because when you imagine the game, you see the crowd is seated, the virtual crowd is seated in the stadium, and the camera moves. The camera goes left, right, and the crowd is still seated. One thing important. Second important thing is that while this camera moves and the crowd is there and the play goes on, the ball also goes over this crowd and it does not disappear.
Yeah.
This is very difficult.
Yeah.
And third, and on top of all those two things, all this has to be live. No delay is accepted. We had a proposal from an important Hollywood company, crowd making organization. They do crowds for films. And when they asked us a half an hour delay, and we told them it's not possible. This is a sport, this is football, this has to be live. Yeah. And they say, no, we can do it better from what you do or what you're planning, but we cannot go live. So if you cannot go live, this cannot go on. So it's a very difficult implementation of different technologies to sort it out. And others tried to do the same and could not. This is not an election that other nations could do. No other sport organization in the world has done that, not because they didn't want to do it, but because they could not do it. And I don't want to give names here, but are top sport organizations that they were wishing to do it and they could not. And we achieve it, and we're doing it every weekend.
So, I mean, because I've obviously, we're watching, let's say, something like the Premier League, where the stand is now covered, the seats are covered in advertising and messages, you know, for frontline workers, etc., etc. But what they have done is input the sound onto the broadcast, so that it feels like you feel like you're listening to a proper game with fans. Obviously, you can't see the fans. What was the inspiration for you guys to really go that extra mile and put this amount of work in and work through the problems as well to really make this something that is unique?
Yeah.
Very simple, perdona, very simple. We wanted to give our viewers the same or a similar experience to what they had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. I mean, it's amazing work. And then going forwards, then one day, hopefully not in the too distant future, we'll be able to have fans back in the stadium. What would be the plan then? How can you keep this technology going, or is it a case of it's served its purpose? We now put that to one side, fans are back, or is there a way you can continue this technology once the stadiums are full again?
Yeah. First of all, that we hope is that fans may return to the stadium as soon as possible, because they are one of the most important part of the show on TV. That's for sure. But with this implementation on this remote virtual technology, we have taken advantage to implement new augmented reality graphics with tracking during the match. And we have started a few months ago to use the same technology with remote production in our headquarters to implement new graphics on pitch during the matches, with using also with our data tracking of the players. And this was an idea that we had before, but the implementation of this technology has accelerated the process a lot.
Fantastic. Well, Eric, is there anything that you would like to ask and add to the conversation?
The SPIA Asia is always about the business of sports, the industry of sports. And maybe Munir, this maybe a quick answer from your side. How does data collection and data analysis come in there? And is there maybe an opportunity to commercialize this new technology now for future things? I mean, obviously the overlay for the virtual advertising, that's been something that has been around for a couple of years, but now maybe with virtual crowds and so on, is there maybe something else that can be done going, I don't know, 5-10 years ahead of time? What's the outlook on this?
Okay, commercializing technology, Eric, and creating new revenue streams for sports properties, I think this is a very hot topic, you know, in the last 3 to 4 years. And the importance of the topic has been accelerated, of course, by all of the new variables that the pandemic has brought to us. You know, what we, for a couple of projects, we work with our clients on their tech commercialization strategy. In one case, there was a public office. In the other case, it was a private organization. But you could tell that the thought process right now that goes into the minds of all of sports properties is that technology is here, data collection, analysis, and reporting is going to be more and more dominant in our business. The cost will increase over time. However, that cost cannot be eliminated because it is really the cost of success, and you want that cost to go higher. So then the question becomes, how can you transform that cost into a business opportunity and into an investment that then you can take and generate either new business streams or just increase your footprint across the globe through informed decision-making, informed activities. I truly believe that sports properties will be taking a proactive role in looking at what business avenues can there be in technology? How can sports properties strike deals with technology companies that step away from the provider-recipient formula and go more towards a partnership, co-development, co-generation, and then co-commercialization formula? I think this is essential for the sports industry in general. There are so many revenue streams that are currently untapped into, and just by observing what other industries have done and how other industries have positioned themselves to start participating in the success formula of technology is a must. I'm very confident that this is the way of the future, and already we can see some signs in the European market that are following. several of the activities that have happened already in the US in terms of playing this proactive role in creating and commercializing technology. Absolutely.
I would just like to do a last question, because we were trying to figure out over the last few months, what is the actual media value of having live crowds on a broadcast in a stadium? And nobody could really answer this question, because obviously the broadcasters were trying to renegotiate some of their sponsorship and media deals when there were no crowds there, while the rights holders were always saying, well, we are still streaming to the same audiences and the same number of people. So would this technology actually be maybe a tool for some of the leagues where they are struggling with full venues to actually use this and give it a better impression maybe to their partners? And well, Tom and I, we're both based in Dubai, and we are struggling with some of the nicest venues in the world of bringing 2,000 or 3,000 fans into the venues. Is that maybe something, Oscar, that maybe you have been approached, that, I don't know, the Qatar Star League or the UAE League, or maybe our league even here in the Philippines, to use this technology and just to virtually project these crowds into the empty stadiums? Is that maybe something that can also happen?
I'm not sure of that, but for sure that we have shown to the world that we are capable to do that. We have the technology, we have the designers to do, and we know how to do that. And of course that if any part of the world they need our help, or they want to ask La Liga and MediaPro if it is will be possible to do, we are here to explain and to work together. Yeah.
Well, there we go. That wraps up the first week of the 6th SPIA Asia, as we award the industry and recognise the industry for what they have done over the past 12 months. Just before we wrap up this call, though, a few final words from Eric.
Thank you very much, Tom, Munir, Melcio, and Oscar. This is great. Congratulations to MediaPro and La Liga. And while we like doing these virtual things, we're really looking forward of having a physical conference, networking, awards show happening sometime soon. Our plans are that by the end of November, first week of December, at our regular spot, that we're going to stage a proper SPIA Asia award again. We will announce the host city in the next 2 weeks, and we're looking forward to a real event. Once again, this was the first winning presentation for the 2020 awards, and we're looking forward to the next round next Wednesday. Thank you very much, Tom, and congratulations again to La Liga and MediaPro, and also to Next Sports, our presenting partner of this innovation initiative. Thank you so much, everyone.